What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another part two to this. This topic right here in deep art. We want to really go a little bit deeper into what we just talked about, right? In the peripheral nervous system, you have to be able to write down, and this is a whole nother league in its own. This is a whole new outlet in its own, a whole new technical function in its own, a whole new training of its own. Just being able to write down everything that you do in order for it, to process in your central nervous system, just as it is active in your body. If you haven't seen part one to this video, please go watch that before you watch this one, so this one makes sense, right? So when you get into an outlet or into a function, like I said in my last video, like it stores it, like the information you get from your central nervous system gets sent back to the body, gets sent back to the peripheral nervous system, right? And it's stored in the body. So if I play basketball and I grind myself out playing basketball, like you know what I'm saying, and I'm learning all these different things and tactics in order for me to be able to function better. This stuff is stored within my body. It's not necessarily stored within my conscious mind. I have to literally, I have to reiterate it in my conscious mind in order for it to be stored there. You know what I'm saying? So like in terms of when we get to training, right? Training specific things. Like a lot of coaches and a lot of trainers like to train people. Sometimes, like if you were a coach, and if, say for instance, for example, if you weren't to tell your client what you were doing and the purpose and the benefits of what they were doing, right? They would just be doing things, and not really consciously aware of what the benefits of what those things are, right? And this is fine if they continue training with you, but at the end of the day, at some point, they when they stop training with you, and they continue to do these things. They're not consciously aware of specifically, they're not consciously aware of why they did the things that they did. So they are very, very vulnerable and susceptible when they stop training with you, because now they don't know. They're not consciously aware of why they did the things they did. And when they stop doing the things they did, they don't know what's happening with their body, and they're in some sort of confusion, right? Anyway, beyond that, like I said before, in everything you do, because everything has a specific effect, right? If I was to draw something, you know what I'm saying? If I was to commit to drawing, right, and actually trying to paint a canvas or something, or draw something, I'm learning some sort of skills. There's some sort of skills that are being developed within this outlet. You know what I'm saying? And I have to be conscious of it, you know what I'm saying? And if I get into another function, you know what I'm saying? If I train in a certain way, like corrective exercise training, depending on what it's doing, these are having certain effects on my brain, and having certain effects on other parts of my body. I want to know what these things are and be conscious of these things and write these things down. You know what I'm saying? And I want to, when I get into a specific outlet and I start exercising a certain way, active, right? And now my body's getting active within a certain activity, right? And I start doing activities. I want to be conscious of what the activity is requiring from me. What am I utilizing, right? And instead of just doing an outlet or doing a function and then like not really consciously processing what's really happening to my body, it's being able to do these you know what I'm saying, write down, do these little documentations and write and do these trainings, and being able to document and write down as I'm learning, you know what I'm saying, or as I'm committing the function. That way I know, you know what I'm saying, why my body's acts a specific way, that I'm conscious why, you know what I'm saying, certain things are a certain way, like, and my mind is tracking my body now, right? Because now my mind is tracking my body, and my mind is in sync with my body, and it's tracking. Okay, so this is happening. This, you know what I'm saying? It's tracking now, everything that's going on and why. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if I don't document, and if I don't record, or if I don't cool down or analyze, everything that I just did. You know what I'm saying? Now my mind and body can be a little bit out of sync, because remember, when I commit a function and when I commit myself to a function, that functionality that I do, if it's an activity, it doesn't get stored in the central nervous system. It gets stored within the peripheral nervous system, within the body itself. So now the body's going to move, and whether my mind is conscious or not of it doesn't really equate to nothing, because at the end of the day, it's stored within my activity, and it's going to continue to do this up, right? So understanding that is very important. It's that's important to understand, man. And the other thing to understand too is that things that we speak, or things that we say, or things that are, I'll say it like this: environments that we happen to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? Within the environment that we are a part of, and the effects that the environment that we're a part of can have on our own minds, or that we can sometimes let have on our own minds, is another crucial thing that could coincide with or have an effect, or having a negative effect if you let it, on your body, in the synchronization between your body and your mind. So it's important to be conscious, be consciously aware of that. But we're gonna talk about that in another video, in a later video, as well. That was just like a little, you can call that a little snippet, I guess, for another topic for in the future. But yeah, that's what we wanted to elaborate on more in this video. It's like reflexes, like you develop certain reflexes, and it's like you throw a tennis ball at somebody, they catch it at the last second, they snake eye it, and it's like, I don't know how I caught it. It just, my hand just went up and I caught it. And it's like your body is moving on autopilot. It's the same thing with some of these functions that we develop. Some of these functions that we develop can have our bodies moving on autopilot. And committing to certain functions, and it's just like we don't know what we're doing unless we're in the outlet, right? Sometimes, man, like the central nervous system, like it really ain't our conscious mind that's at work when we get into them high intense environments. Like I said in one of my other videos, it's many other brain functions that aren't the conscious mind that are at work, right? That are reading and reacting, or sending signals and interpreting signals, right? They're reading signals. You know what I'm saying? It's not a conscious thing, but it's an unconscious thing, or I guess it's not a conscious thing in that you're reading signals, right? Signals are what you're reading and that you're sending. You know what I'm saying? Within high intense environments. Like it's almost like going back to the real true essence of yourself, right? To where you get to that point and you're just reading and reacting, or reading and sending signals. You know what I'm saying? Is what your brain is doing. So that's important to understand, like, and that's what happens when you get into those outlets and you apply yourself 110%. So that's important to understand as well. And other than that, yeah, that's how it is when you get into high intense environments, right? And then when you take a step back out of those environments, those signals that you're reading, reacting, they're there, but it's things that have been developed, that solutions that you have found, or that have been sent to the peripheral nervous system that aren't there. You know what I'm saying? And that can be operating, because it's information that gets stored within the body and not the conscious mind and not the central nervous system, right? So anyway, I'm going to conclude this video right here. Like I said, be very analytical about what you do and the outlets that you get into and the functionalities of what those outlets are benefiting, right? What muscles are being built? What functionalities are being trained? Even in jail, in those high intense environments, what is being built within my own peripheral nervous system? What's being developed? You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And within these spaces, especially trauma, maybe the homelessness, man, like being exposed to those chemicals, you know what I'm saying, outside for that period of time. Like what's actually happening to me? You know what I'm saying? What's actually happening to my body? You know, and being consciously aware of those spaces and not just saying, oh, okay, so I'm not homeless anymore. I have a house, and then just not being, or I have a roof over my head now, and not really reflecting and being consciously aware of those spaces that you were just in, right? And the effects of those spaces, right? You know what I'm saying? And really tracking your body. That's what I call it. Tracking your body, tracking your peripheral nervous system. That way, specifically, like, those spaces that you were in, right? So that's going to, for the most part, sum up this video. Whether it be in jail, whether it be homeless, or whether it be in a high intensity environment, being able to track your peripheral nervous system in terms of what's being built and what's being trained is very crucial within the conscious mind. This way that you know specifically exactly your body and what spaces that it's getting into, and why it's functioning the way it does, and that you can just keep control and management of your own body and its functioning. Because if we, like we talked about in one of our last videos, we talked about false experience appearing real. That can be helped or dealt with significantly by simply just, being more consciously aware of the effects of everything that you're doing, and like I said, tracking your peripheral nervous system within the outlets that you get into and the things that you do and how things are affecting your body. So without further ado, that's going to conclude this video. Hope to see y'all in another video. Hopefully this was good and somebody can take some information from it. Peace, love. Go check out Deep Rhythm. Go check out Critical Thought. We probably got some more videos up there. So peace, love, and we out this joint.